Hey y'all, happy Monday. Well, welcome back. So it has been a crazy week with Thanksgiving and all the rain. So there's a couple of new things in the garden. So we're gonna do a little micro tour of the garden. We're also gonna talk about we harvested our sweet potato bed this weekend. So we're gonna show you what that looked like and kind of catch up with you about some things that we'll do different next time. And then we're also going to learn what we can plant this month in December in the low desert garden. So let's check out the tour. There's not a whole lot I want to show you in this bed. I mean, obviously some things are looking a little bit better, but the thing I really wanted to point out is something that happens in this bed every year, especially in the winter when it rains a lot and this bed sits in the shade. This bed grows mold, or not mold, but moss, and there's not really much you can do but just kind of lift it off the surface like that and toss it away. So if you see that, it's just, you know, what happens obviously when wet things are in the shade. Just like a tree, they grow mold. So this is about all that you can do until the soil really dries out, but we're about to get another rain, so there you are. But I just wanted to point out that this is something that can happen in your bed. We've got, you know, plenty of little edible flowers coming in over here, as well as the peas are coming up nicely. This one's getting almost long enough to touch the fence, so 3 happy peas right there and some more edibles. The beans over here are really getting thick in their pods. If I can find a good one, like there's a good one that's got real thick beans in it. So, and weirdly enough, it's got flowers coming out still. I've got more edible flowers going down here. What's weird is that some of these look like some kind of squash seed, so I just kind of have to wait and see what happens. In brassicas, we've got a lovely little cauliflower starting to form down there, and ooh, look at that beautiful snowball right there. And this one's not showing so much yet. And then all the broccolis look great, but I haven't seen real formation. Oh wait, there's a little bit going on down there. So all the brassicas are still really happy, and even the little Brussels sprout down here it's getting cold enough for it to, you know, make some things go on with it. Let's check out this. Yep, there's another little cauliflower coming in there. So the brassicas are probably the happiest thing in my garden right now. You can't tell it, but I did trim these up significantly. These are volunteers from last year. Here's some more peas coming up. There's peas there, peas here, peas here. Kale's going crazy. Swiss chard's finally got enough room to do its own thing, and that poor pepper is still doing stuff. Not easy to see, but I've got a little bit of lettuces coming up. These here running along the straight line axes are actually beet, but we don't have any of the herbs coming up over there yet. Here's a look at that pretty pineapple that we planted last week, and it's super happy in its home here in this window. Real quick, I just wanted to show you that right here we're starting to see the first of the new growth with our celery, and our sweet potato in just 1 week is already starting to make roots. So I think I got that put in the right way this time. So we have decided to come in here and start digging out these sweet potatoes. There's plenty of yellowing. Some of the flowers did come out, but more than anything, I really kind of want to see what's going on. You know, this is my first time to ever do this, and I want to plant some other stuff in this bed. So we're going to trim back all this foliage and then come back and show you where we're at. So now we've cleared everything out of the bed, and you really want to be real gentle because we want to try and not scar anything. So you don't really want to use a shovel. It's really kind of best to use like a broad fork. So we're going to kind of do our hands and maybe our little spade and see what happens. a couple over here. But it's not looking so good. See, because that came right out of where that... So there's something to do with this white stuff. Must be what, like... So this soil might even just be ruined. Here's another one right here, but it's probably just nothing. Pardon my husband while he grunts. So this is kind of sad. I mean, it's a learning experience, but I don't really know what I'm learning here because I don't know what this white looking stuff is in the soil. So I'm gonna have to do some investigation work because after, you know, since May, this is the best we got out of sweet potatoes. So it's a learning lesson, and I'll do some research and figure out what I didn't do right, and maybe we'll have better luck next time. After some research, I come to learn that what went wrong in the sweet potato bed was what's called a white mold. And it's usually something that you see on the top of your soil, and it's more common even to see it on an indoor plant, which actually makes it a lot more easier to deal with. Now, when I think back about how we put this together, if you remember, this was the original pool, and it had our salad greens and herbs in it from last year, and I decided to make it deeper to accommodate the sweet potatoes. So we added on, you know, 6 inches or so of soil and mulch and cow manure. Now, I remember distinctly that this cow manure that I had sat over here on this side of the house. It had rained on several times, and it did have those exact same white particles in it. But anybody I talked to or asked said, oh, no worries, it's not a big deal. And so I felt like I got most of it out of the bag before I put it in here. But obviously, I didn't get enough, and it just kept on going and growing here in the bed. Now, the reason why that was a bad thing for the sweet potatoes is because when you have a mold like that growing in your bed, that means that that mold is robbing nutrients from the other plants in the bed that need to grow and thrive. So I think that sometime in this summer, when we saw the sweet potato plant really kind of die back, that was the first time of getting that kind of what they call a southern blight caused by the white mold. So, but then you remember at the end of the summer, the sweet potatoes perked back up. So I think that perked back up is how we got this little bit of sweet potatoes. This was the newer generation of plant that was in the bed, and you know, who knows, maybe if we would have let that stay in there another 4 months, maybe they would have become bigger sweet potatoes. So the options for dealing with white mold are vinegar or baking soda, and this is a lot of soil, so I really don't want to lose it. Another thing that you can do is winterize it, which is where you cover it in plastic and you allow the sun to bake it so much that it kills things like white mold in your soil. However, I'm over here on one of the shadiest sides of my house, and there's hardly enough sun right now to do a proper solarization. So unfortunately, as much to my chagrin, I'm probably going to end up using white vinegar to treat this soil, and I'm probably going to do it at 5-gallon buckets at a time, because this is a lot to try and do all at once and have a trust and faith that it's actually doing something about the problem. Now, the thing that bothers me about that is I'm all about creating a living soil, you know. So it hurts my heart to have to dump vinegar all over it, which is essentially going to kill everything that's positive in the soil. But that's where we'll just have to come back and refortify this soil once we get rid of this issue. And we definitely don't want to plant anything like sweet potatoes or tomatoes or anything else in that nightshade family in this soil. Probably won't do anything that I've ever done in this soil, on this soil again. So we'll just have to see how that goes. And it's unfortunate, you know, because when you spend, you know, 4 or 5 months growing something that's underneath the soil and you have no idea what's going on, it can really be a little crushing to dig it all up and discover that it never really had a chance to begin with. So that's what happened with the sweet potatoes, and that's what the white stuff was in the soil that we saw. And those are the steps kind of that I'm gonna take to go about it. If it was like a house plant, you know, a smaller amount of soil, you could actually put that in the oven, bake it, do the same thing. There's also some solutions out there that you can make with baking soda and water that is more of like a foliar application, but it's really a preventative or to treat current symptoms on the plant, not just to deal with the soil. So if I had this summer, I would definitely solarize, but I don't. So hopefully we'll have this soil ready for spring planting. Who knows? But that's what happened with the sweet potato bed. All right, y'all, well, we're gonna chat real quick about what you can plant in December. And the list is pretty much the same as what we've been seeing. A couple of things are new, and there's certain things that you can do from seed and some things that you can only do from transplant. So let's get going down the list. So for December, we've got Swiss chard, beets from seed, any little red green S means it's from seed. So turnips from seed, broccoli, kohlrabi, cauliflower, collard greens, asparagus is new to the list, spinach from seed, rutabagas from seed, endive from seed, globe artichoke is new and you can do that from seed, mustard and carrots from seed, peas and radishes and green onions from seed, bulb onions from transplants, bok choy from seed, lettuce, cabbage, celery, and kale from seed. And we always want to thank growinginthegarden.com. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed kind of learning a little bit from our mistakes and what happened with the sweet potato bed. I hope you've got some things like cauliflower coming up in your garden, and I hope that that list of things that you can plant will be helpful to you. I know that some of the seeds that I planted in the last week right before all that rain have kind of been a little slow to come up, but I'm pretty faithful that they will perk on up as we get into some more sunnier days. So I hope you're having the best day ever, and until next time, thanks so much.